And New Orleans officials say the city failed to deploy anti-vehicle barriers, including bollards. Yesterday, officials say the barriers had recently been removed because they were malfunctioning and needed to be replaced.
2 days after the attack in New Orleans, the national conversation has turned to a topic we've investigated for nearly a year: vehicle safety barriers and how effective they can be at stopping speeding vehicles.
Tonight, KXAN investigator Matt Grant is asking one local congressman what can be done to keep communities safe.
One of the issues, Matt, that you've done such a good job of raising is this whole question of bollards.
Texas Congressman Lloyd Doggett calling for more bollards amid renewed security concerns and questions over the effectiveness of a 2021 federal measure meant in part to fund safety barriers to prevent pedestrian injuries and acts of terrorism for state departments of transportation and local governments. Is this something that you think should be revisited and looked at again to make sure it's being funded and that cities that want this money have access to it?
I think the issue of safety and the need for barriers to protect pedestrians is serious enough that we should revisit the act and the issue and see if there are other things that can be done.
For half a year, Doggett has called on the General Services Administration to conduct an expedited review of all federally owned and leased buildings in the southwestern U.S., including New Orleans, to see if bollards should be installed. It's a response to last year's deadly crash at an Austin hospital and our reporting revealing more than 400 similar incidents at medical facilities over the past decade across the country. A week ago, Doggett renewed that request, citing KXAN's extensive work to uncover the magnitude of this issue, adding, "Given the increased number of deaths and injuries from a lack of safety bollards, GSA should act promptly." In his letter, Doggett cited an incident days before Christmas when a man running from police drove into a mall in Killeen, running over 4 people.
One of them was a little girl. I don't know if she got hit, but when I saw her, there was blood.
The federal government is just sort of getting to the point where it's going to start thinking about how do we invest so that local communities can be protected.
Rob Ryder is co-founder of the Storefront Safety Council, which has tracked 30,000 vehicle-into-building crashes over the past decade. He says cities need to invest in safety, especially places that attract large crowds.
Anybody who has a venue like that hasn't had a serious incident has either been planning and executing well, or they've just been lucky.
A decade ago, 4 people died in downtown Austin when a man drove into a crowd during the South by Southwest Festival. Austin City Council member Zoe Kadri is now looking into a downtown bollard requirement following our investigation, telling us, "The tragedy in New Orleans underscores the need for our city to remain dedicated to safe streets and public spaces. I'm committed to exploring with staff enhanced safety treatments for major street closures downtown, along with anything applicable to our city that investigations in New Orleans may reveal." In October, Kadri's staff contacted Ryder for input into an entertainment district bollard requirement, saying, "There have been quite a few incidents of pedestrians being hit within this area, especially during large-scale events."
I would think the city needs to look closely at what happened in New Orleans to ensure we never have something like that happen in Austin.
Austin's Transportation and Public Works departments have now confirmed crash-rated bollards are being explored for the Congress Avenue redesign project. On the federal side, Doggett wants the GSA to examine at least 3 of 10 government buildings in Austin we previously visited and found potential vulnerabilities, including a Social Security Administration building and an IRS office. In Austin, Matt Grant, KXAN investigates.
The GSA has so far not committed to an expedited building review. A spokesperson with the agency, which oversees federal facilities, received Doggett's letter and is, quote, reviewing its content and working on a response to this important matter. Doggett says that 2021 law, the Infrastructure and Investment Jobs Act, authorized $25 million over 5 years for state and local bollard grants, but is yet to be funded.